Hey out there, this is Thursday, September. Let's see, today's going to be I forgot. So I'm going to look at the calendar here. Today is the 5th of September, 2019, and it is just about 4 minutes past 9 in the morning here in Northern California. Today, as usual, I'll get into a lot of different stuff. I kind of wanted the theme to be discussing the nature of evil and why I'm always blaming America for international, worldwide problems, and tie that into dissent, as it's been said, is the highest form of patriotism. You see, when you see things going askew and you're silent about it, then you are culpable. You are going along to get along. You're going with the flow. You're taking the path of least resistance. And this is a big problem in America. And as we all know, anybody that's somewhat educated, paying attention, know that we all know that America is the most influential nation on earth. There's something very special about America. You know, our 50 states and our independence, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. It is coveted. It is a coveted nation all over the world. We all know that people all gravitate toward America. So we are, like it or not, if you're born an American, you're a trendsetter and you are more responsible than anybody else on the face of the earth, being that you are an American. You claim to be an American, and even if it's only physically that you're here and you don't like America, well, you know, like they say, like it or leave it. This is what we're stuck with, as far as I can tell. Either that or we're just, fleeing migrants ourselves. So you got to make a stand where you are. And I'm in America, and I like America for the values, the precepts that we behold as Americans. Freedom, liberty, justice for all that kind of good stuff. All the rights listed in the Constitution, these are God-given rights. I love that understanding that the only entity that supersedes these constitutional rights that our foreparents drew up for us and had them engraved in stone, etched in stone for all intents and purposes, being constitutional law that cannot be revoked, taken away from the people, then I just think it's a beautiful thing. And this is why I think we should all love America. And this is why you've got to understand why other people love America. They kind of get it. They understand, yes, freedom, liberty, justice for all, okay, the right to pursue happiness. And rights and responsibilities are always kind of on the borderline, because if you don't exercise your rights, you're remiss, you're delinquent. So it becomes a responsibility to protect your rights. You must exercise your rights. In protecting your rights, you have to exercise them or you lose them. Use it or lose it, like they say, to keep it simple. So this is why I'm always picking on America. And I really want to make sure people understand how dynamic the human nature is, the human being. And at this point in human civilization, human history, how special it is and how utterly unprecedented from every other period in history, because of the technological advancements, because of knowledge being available, all the accumulated knowledge of the ages to everybody at their fingertips with the internet. I mean, we're all literally without excuse to be ignorant, except that we choose to be ignorant. So that's called willful ignorance. And I've got no regard for people that choose willful ignorance. I've got regard for people that value knowledge, wisdom, truth, education, information, that are willing to put on their big boy or girl pants and accept the empowerment that comes with it and the duty, the responsibility. So it's far beyond a right at that point to speak your mind. When you don't like something, your opinion is just as valid as anybody else's. This is the whole idea behind a republic, and that is what America is founded on. It's based on this idea that it's a republic, and which is better than a democracy in as much as there's a fly in the ointment of a democracy, and that is that 51% of the people, because it's a simple majority, right? That's what a democracy is based on. 51% of the people could conceivably vote to enslave the other 49%. You understand? As long as they kept that critical mass, that slight majority, they could make life utterly miserable for the other 49%. And that's what we've been sliding into a long time. But if guys like JFK and Martin Luther King Jr. had gotten their way in America, America would look profoundly, dramatically different from what it does. And I really want people to ruminate over what I'm saying here. I mean, we got to understand what happened at the assassination of JFK was nothing short of a coup. It was a biblical level evil that occurred, okay? When you take the most powerful, influential nation on the face of the earth, and you successfully take out the head of the state, I mean, there's got to be a motive. Okay, this is more than just some psycho crazy Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay, this guy was a patsy, obviously. This is what most people have done deep research. They agree. This is absurd. And so there was a very powerful motive, because anybody knows how hated you would be. And Lee Harvey Oswald did not have the vibe, okay, to be the kind of guy that wanted to accept that kind of hatred. Because JFK was a deeply beloved American president. And even people that professed conservatism, capitalism, and republicanism could not justifiably dislike JFK because his policies were very capitalistic. So capitalistic that he was giving the Federal Reserve Bank a run for their money, no pun intended, but he had already begun circulating a competing currency. Everybody's got to know this historical tidbit. Very, very critical, imperative to understand, to be empowered with this knowledge. Okay, these U.S. Treasury notes, they were called silver certificates, silver notes. They looked almost identical to dollars, a little prettier as I remember as a child. Only ones and fives were being circulated as I remember. It was just the genesis. It was the beginning. It was the beginning of the end for the Federal Reserve. They saw the writing on the wall. Everybody could. The American people were gravitating to what they understood, intuitively understood, even if they didn't intellectually understand what was going on. They intuitively understood the concept of sound economic policies and sound monetary policies, sound money, essentially, metal-backed money, silver in this case, that you just couldn't print it willy-nilly and put the country in debt. It was taken much more seriously, that we were much more conservative. So JFK was very fiscally, financially, economically, monetarily, he was very conservative. He was a Democrat, of course, but he was very conservative regarding monetary policy because he knew that without checks and balances, without oversight, concrete, tangible oversight, built-in checks and balances with it being metal-backed, silver-backed, that we were going to get trapped and snared and cheated and duped by these bankster interests, these money printing interests, these people that had an interest in putting America in